Today, we are going to be talking about Ocean's 8 and Hotel Artemis, so stay tuned. Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. Hi, everybody. My name is Matt Hay, but really, I'm going to start off by introducing my cohort here. His name is Joel. What if your nickname was the name of a brand of water bottle, like Aquafina, like Arrowhead? Joel Arrowhead Cunningham.
That's fine.
Okay.
I didn't know if that was
or
part
Fiji.
of the nickname.
It
or
is. It's kind of a lengthy, summary
it's
of
like
the
a
nickname.
paragraph nickname.
Joel Fiji Cunningham.
Okay.
Joel Dasani Cunningham.
I liked Joel. What if your name was a water bottle?
Joel
Arrowhead ?
Joel LaCroix
Cunningham better.
Cunningham.
Okay, that's
you
your
go.
LaCroix, by
There
the
you
way.
go.
You can enjoy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey,
I like
who
it.
am I, Joel? I already said it in my
I'm
name.
here with. Mine's much shorter.
Okay.
I'm here with Matt 8.5 ball hay.
Oh, right. Yeah, 'cause
Not
I'm
quite the full 9 ball.
Not quite the full 9 ball.
Not quite the 8 ball. You're kind of right in the middle.
True story.
I
It
don't
is
know
true
what
story.
that implies. But,
It's all good.
One stripes, one solids. That's the big difference.
Yeah, we're talking about Ocean's 8 stuff, guys. So
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
But if you're here, if you're watching, if you're listening, welcome to the show. We are here to just talk about the films that we were talking about earlier, Ocean's 8 and Hotel Artemis, that came out this weekend.
Yes.
And we are going to talk about them in depth. But first, welcome to The Real Review, where we kind of break it down. Joel's a little bit more skeptical, a little bit more nitpicky when it comes to reviews.
I tend
into
to
the
be more
details. Yeah, analytical.
More lengthy.
I'm a little bit more like emotionally. If I'm emotionally moved, then yeah, that's it. If I have fun, if I'm a little bit more optimistic about things, I'm a little bit more forgiving of nitpicky things a lot of times. And
Optimist versus pessimist. It's a
optimist
simple
prime.
way. Yeah.
And together
Transformers.
we join that together for The Real Review, where you get a good blend of the two, hopefully,
Yeah.
and all that fun stuff. And we're doing this together. So join in on the conversation. Send us emails, all that fun stuff. But Joel,
Yeah.
how can they send us emails, and how can they get connected with us?
Well, Matt, good question.
Yes.
A couple different ways. We have our website, which is realreviewmedia.com, and we're posting things there. We also have our Facebook, which we're always putting a lot of content in there. Oh, that LaCroix sounds good.
I know.
Facebook.com/realreviewmedia. We also have our Instagram and our Twitter, which are both at realreviewmedia. And as always, it's spelled REEL. And finally, ways to get connected, to contact us directly if you'd like to talk to us. You can obviously always send us a message on Facebook, comment or something like that. But the best
MySpace.
way, yes, MySpace. No, I tried to log into my MySpace the other day.
Yeah.
I couldn't even remember the password.
I wanted to try and make sure it was deleted, and I think it is. I think if it's like
Okay.
Gen 1 MySpace stuff, they got rid of it. 'Cause I was
Gotcha.
like, I can't get into
I'm
this.
sure somebody's hacked it by now and using it as some advertisement
Yep,
for
it's
sunglasses or
true.
something. Anyway, you can email us, realreviewmedia@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives and know about your journey that you're on in learning about film and media and taking part in all the wonderful stuff we've got going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And before we dive into
Uh-oh.
the Ocean's 8 review, I do
Skadoosh.
want to bring this up because this Friday, The Incredibles 2 comes out.
Oh, yeah.
And we haven't really been able to talk about it. So we signed NDAs back in
Yeah.
December. We actually saw the movie in December.
We
The
did.
Incredibles 2.
Yeah, incredibly. We saw it.
Incredibly, we saw it.
Yeah.
And so, but here's the thing. It was like half done, maybe a third done.
Yeah.
Right? So all the voice stuff and the story was all there, but not all the animation was completed.
As far as we know, yeah, it was basically just the animation needed to be filled in. I don't know if they changed the story.
That's the thing. We don't know if they changed the story yet. When we get a chance to review it again, I'm really excited to see what they changed
Yeah.
because it's getting some really good hype right now.
Yeah,
in
and
some
I didn't.
reviews.
I don't know about you. I didn't have quite as great a experience as I was hoping. I think
The-
Incredibles 1 is it's a top tier movie for Pixar.
The animation not being completed was jarring.
It was jarring,
I
but
think that took me out of the movie. a
I
lot.
would also say there was elements even without all the animation being there, specifically with Jack's story
Right.
and Mr. Incredible. I really enjoyed his side of the story. I'm not spoiling anything here because I don't even know what's in the film at this point, but I really enjoyed his part of the story. It was really the secondary part of the
Right.
story, kind of the A plot or the B plot. I don't know what they're treating it like at this point, but the secondary story with Elastigirl, that it just kind of was like, it was okay.
Right.
So I'm excited to see. Maybe they
Yeah.
made some tweaks. Maybe they made some changes. Maybe that animation really is all that needs to
Yeah.
be there to solidify it.
So this is like our unofficial like pre-review of the movie of the this is like the rough draft review.
Yeah,
right.
It's a rough draft.
So like
review.
if I were to rate it, I would have given it like B+. Like I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I didn't think it was amazing.
I would have given it a flat B.
Okay.
Because I think B. Well, maybe B+ close.
Okay.
Yeah, like 86, 87.
So I think it'll be really interesting. I'm excited to see it in its full form, and it could be entirely different experience.
Could be.
It could
Yeah.
be. Anyways, so there is your unofficial review of The Incredibles 2.
So stay tuned for our full actual review.
Next week, most
Next
likely.
week, yeah. Very
But
cool.
anyways, you're welcome for that bonus content. So let's start off with Ocean's 8.
They were
okay.
eagerly hoping for that. Just
Yes,
give
that
us
was a
bonus
surprise.
content. Yeah.
It's like Christmas morning. All right, so the synopsis: Ocean's 8. Debbie Ocean gathers an all-female crew to attempt an impossible heist at New York City's yearly Met Gala, not gala. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Gala.
Debbie Ocean, played by Sandra Bullock. Just to give you a little bit more background on that, she plays the sister of Danny Ocean, as George Clooney from the 11, 12, and 13 movies.
Correct.
Written by Gary Ross, directed by Gary Ross as well. Also Olivia Milch. Sorry, I can't read very well. They got weird font on this. But Sandra Bullock, super great cast actually. Sandra Bullock, Kate Blanchett, Griffin Dunn, Deidre Goodwin, Anne Hathaway, Mindy Kaling, Daniel Robbins, Awkwafina, Sarah Paulson.
Say Helen Bonham Carter?
Not yet. Helen Bonham Carter.
Uh-huh.
And Rihanna as well. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah. Anyways, so this came out, and it's not. At first, when they first announced this movie, I remember thinking that, is this going to be like a remake, just with the female cast, or what is this? And it's in the continuity. I'm not. Apparently, it's a continuation, so it's a sequel.
Right.
Right.
We'll spoil that. I mean, it is a sequel.
Right. It is a sequel.
It takes place
And
after
they
events
talk
of-
about that. Yeah.
Which was a little confusing, though, because it's 8, but we've already had, the higher numbers. So
But the numbers
it
always
makes sense.
coincide with how many people are involved in the
Right.
job.
It makes sense because
Right.
of the plot of the film, but as far as like the way that we standardly number films, it just didn't make, because that was kind of the cool thing about the 11, 12, and 13 is like it was sequels and the
They
numbers
could potentially
were going.
do sequels and make 8, 9, and 10 if they wanted
That's
to.
a very, very minor gripe.
Yeah.
In regards to the entire thing. That only lasted like a few seconds, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's in the future.
So they could effectively if it does well, which I don't think it did that great.
No, I checked out the box office numbers.
Yeah.
And it looks like
It's like 40 something.
It'll definitely make back its production budget.
Right.
It's in the $40 million range. Did not do great internationally.
Right,
made like
right.
$15 million. It'll be hard pressed, I think, for it to significantly surpass the entire budget with marketing and everything like that.
Right.
So it's not a good sign as far as there being an Ocean 9.
So, yeah, here's the thing with the movie, and I'll just start off with kind of it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
That was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't near as good as 11 or 13. It might be better than 12. Depends.
Depends upon your perspective on it.
So
yeah.
here's what let's start with what I liked. Okay.
Okay.
I thought the cast was really great for what it was. For what they had to do, I loved the cast. Standouts to me, Anne Hathaway and Kate Blanchett. I really liked them a ton.
Yeah. And one we didn't mention was James Corden.
Yes, James Corden, right. So
Which he was a standout for me.
Yeah, for the little time that he was in
yeah.
it.
He actually had
he had the only line in the whole movie that I actually laughed out loud at.
Yeah.
And it was the two things. Anyways.
Yeah.
So
and we might want to do just like a very minor little spoiler thing because there's something about this movie in particular
that's interesting that they alluded to that may or may not be real.
Well, but there's another thing in regards to the heist itself that I wanted to talk about. But his character, out of all of them, except for maybe Anne Hathaway, felt more like the original style and tone and feel of Ocean's 8, 11, 12, and 13. For some reason. I don't know why. But anyway.
And that's totally fine. So that's outside of the acting, and other than just having an okay time, like I had fun with some of the moments. I enjoyed watching the heist stuff, and that was probably my most favorite stuff of the movie. But that's really it. There wasn't anything extra special about it. There was a lot of stuff that looked good. It was pretty colorful. I thought.
Yeah.
But that limits the stuff that I thought was just. I mean, that's kind of the end of what I thought was really good about it.
Positive wise for me,
Yeah.
I think the cinematography, although it wasn't quite stylistically what the original ones were, was good.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing about it that I'm like, eh. I mean,
Right.
they had some interesting shots at times, and they tried to do some of the similar like wipes and
Like the zoom
multiple
ins.
shots and zoom ins and effects that I thought in the original made it so stylistically
Right.
interesting and cool. I thought that was good. I think the acting, except for Rihanna, who I've never felt does a very significantly good job acting wise, was serviceable and good for the script. It definitely felt a little bit like we're just kind of following some steps here
Right.
in certain parts. And I don't know if that's the direction. I mean, Gary Ross, the director of this, has done some good films in the past. And so it's like, he did Pleasantville, and that was a great, as far as character style and character acting, I thought was awesome. And I think that was one of the things I was hoping for from the film that I didn't get a lot of, was
Right.
you get so much in the Ocean's 11, 12, 13 was real characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, if you want to tiptoe into the negative first, you can. I didn't want to take that.
It's totally fine. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let me dive into that too,
Okay.
because it's not a bad movie. I won't say it's a bad movie. I enjoyed it. It's a watchable movie, and I had some fun with it. And it's just too blasé.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. Here's the thing. You have Gary Ross who's doing who's trying to mimic Soderbergh, right? So
Felt like it, yeah.
yeah, and so, but he's not, Gary Ross's style isn't like that. So here's the thing. Gary Ross also did the Hunger Games, the first
did.
one.
Yep.
And I like that, but where he lacked in, like he did good in like the heavy drama stuff. All that stuff in the first Hunger Games movie was so on point.
Yeah.
It was when it came to like the action and keeping things fast paced.
You mean shaky cam doesn't work all the time? Is that
Right. So that's where there were some issues with what I thought about the Hunger Games, and that same thing translated into what I thought this movie was lacking.
Yeah.
It was lacking that snappy, that wittiness, that like kind of like real quick. It mimics some of those quick zooms and stuff, but a lot of it was just like really drawn out, like conversations that were kind of slow paced.
Yeah,
you
he
know?
does really well with drama and dramatic parts
right.
of his films. I mean, he wrote, I believe, Big, Gary
Right, yeah,
Ross,
yeah.
and which is kind of an out there film, but really grounded
more of a
well in the.
comedy, like,
it's a comedy that moves into a real like almost family drama,
Right,
almost
right.
like a dramatic romance type thing. He does good with that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was trying to.
No, you're totally fine.
add to it.
And I think it was just missing that snappiness. He doesn't have that like natural
repartee.
snappiness of it.
I was hoping for that. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a cast of characters and girls that are good enough actresses that I feel like could have that witty back and forth kind of
Right.
playfulness, but it wasn't there at all.
Right.
There was maybe one or two scenes. Kate Blanchett's got maybe the most stylistically with that, where she's
Yeah.
just kind of back and forthing with Sandra Bullock's
I liked
character.
her persona.
Yeah.
And same.
She almost had one of the strongest characters in this, except
Right,
for
exactly.
Rihanna, who had nothing but her character. To
Right.
me.
Right. And I thought Anne Hathaway's character was cool.
Well, they spoil it too, though.
Well, let's not talk about spoilers.
Well, they spoiled it on the website, actually, on Ocean's 8.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they list her
Interesting.
right there as one of the.
Okay, so the big things
Like,
with
okay.
the big thing with this movie is just not snappy like the other ones. It's kind of like trying to just mimic the Ocean's 11 almost.
Yeah.
And the one thing I thought was weird was there's not really an antagonist of
No.
this movie.
No.
And they try and make someone an antagonist, but it's kind of a side thing, and it's not really like important.
Well, I had a problem with that because you never really get. Okay, so in the first film, you have this guy who's the casino manager, who's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And they make it very clear at the beginning that this guy is
Andy
a complete,
Garcia, right?
Yeah, he's a complete pompous prick. He's
Yeah.
self-interested. It's all about what he wants and when
Right.
he wants it, and it's all about control. They have a character in here, Claude,
Mm-hmm.
who, for the most part, most of the movie, seems like he's like a decent guy, but has this one circumstances with Sandra Bullock's character where
Yeah.
he completely throws her under the bus.
It's like yeah.
And he definitely did something wrong there,
Yeah.
so I'm not trying to say he didn't do something wrong there, but you never get his motivations.
Right.
You never get an understanding of where he's coming from, why he did it. Like, is he really hard for money? Was he
Right.
just trying to become successful? And so it doesn't create a clear antagonist.
Right.
And it almost becomes like the antagonist for the film is Sandra Bullock herself, who's trying to overcome insecurities and inadequacies
In her
that she
past.
has in her past.
Right.
Exactly.
And her
And that's just not
family dynamic.
And that's interesting if it's just that, but there has to be an actual clear antagonist that they're trying to overcome in
right.
the
And
film.
there's not really.
Right.
No, the antagonist is like the heist.
Yeah,
Almost.
and that was part of the amazing thing of the Ocean's 11 is that they have that clear antagonist that they're trying to beat, mixed in with him trying to create this amazing heist,
Right.
and all of them become successful, not
Right.
get caught, and so it created a lot more interest.
And I thought Sandra Bullock, like her character was very flat. Like I didn't connect with her. She's a main character, you know?
Yeah.
She's Ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I felt there'd be a lot more development with her when hers really just, it's like a retribution / I'm born
and that
into a heist family. So
That was the other thing about the whole antagonist thing is that the entire cast, almost the entire way through, is saying, don't do this for that reason. Don't do this for that reason. Like the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it's kind of like, am I supposed to not look at that guy as an antagonist?
Right.
Like, everybody needs to be on board that
Right.
this is the bad guy for the most part for me to really think of him as the bad guy. So that was really odd to me as well.
Couple, and I won't spoil it, but there's a couple cameos. One of them I really liked kind of towards the end. I like that.
Yeah, there's one close to the beginning, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely they were working to tie it,
It ties
to
it
the
together.
Ocean's movie. And
There's one at the end. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of a fun one.
yeah, there was something that I thought was going to happen at the very, very
Me
end.
too, but that
Yeah.
didn't happen.
No, I was really expecting it with the way
Yeah.
they were framing everything.
Yeah.
I was almost a little disappointed.
I
but
was disappointed.
Yeah.
Anyways, you'll know it when you see it.
Yeah.
But just overall, the movie I thought was just okay. There's nothing spectacular, but it wasn't bad. It's definitely watchable if you like that kind of a thing. And it
Yeah.
wasn't as funny as I was thinking it was going to be. Like I
No.
said earlier, there's only one moment that I laughed out loud. There was other parts where I was kind of like, that like I didn't get to even a full chuckle, but
Yeah.
I just kind of
It
shrugged
wasn't
the shoulders. And was
Yeah.
like,
It wasn't fun. I didn't feel like I was having a fun ride. Where it was almost like in the first movie, it was almost like this. I don't want to say like a story of lore. Like it was
Right.
almost like this fable or something in the first one, weirdly. And it was the way that the music combined with the stylistic edits and the over the top characterization with the
Yeah.
characters. Whereas this one, everything just felt like kind of like a drama with a heist
right.
attached to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I was hoping. I was really pushing for. I'm a big fan of the Ocean's movies for the most
Yeah.
part. Even 12, which
Yeah.
is very controversial for some
Right,
people.
right.
I love them, and I think they're great. And I would love
Those
to
are
have
fun
seen
movies.
a resurgence of the Ocean's movies, and the whole element of it being all women or all guys. I really don't care about all that. If it's
Yeah.
a good movie, I'm
a
going to
good
enjoy
movie.
it
Right.
on the aspect of it being a good movie.
Right.
So, can we do like we'll give our like reviews.
A minor spoiler.
Yeah, like a minor
Okay,
spoiler, because there's
okay.
like just one
Well, let's
thing
give
I really want to talk about.
Give your score first.
Okay, so I'm giving this one a 76.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm actually going lower. I'm giving it 75.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right. That's rare for us.
I was like, "Meh, okay.
Okay.
But anyways,
like my
so
droopy
we are
dog.
going to spoil minor details. There's not a lot to spoil about this movie, but
I'm gonna spoil the
we're going
end.
to spoil a little bit. So if you don't want to hear any
jump ahead,
spoilers
like, a
for
minute or
this,
two.
jump ahead like let's say like 2 minutes or something like that. We'll keep it real brief,
Yeah.
but we're going to spoil it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So the end, I was frustrated. We talked about this. I was really hoping that Danny Ocean.
I thought he was going to walk up.
I thought we were going to see his shadow because
Right.
the way that they were framing it, you could see
Stuff behind it.
Yeah, you could see Debbie Ocean's like shadow
Yeah.
on the wall.
Uh-huh.
And I thought he was going to like walk up and just grab an olive or something. That's all they needed. And I would have been like, oh, cool. He's
Right.
still alive. So
Right.
it felt really mean to me to kill off his character.
Right.
Especially when you don't give any.
I still think he's not dead.
I don't think he's dead too, but like they never resolved that.
Right.
And so it just feels very mean spirited that like this beloved character, it's like Star Wars all over again. They just kill him off. And you're
Right.
like, well, I want to know what happened.
Right,
like,
right.
Last
Yeah.
we saw him, they were happily leaving with their money, and
Yeah.
so that felt a little mean spirited. I want to hear your thought. There's one other thing, but yeah,
Yeah, no, I don't think he's dead, but I was fully anticipating, and they just kind of like ended it, and it was like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
I was definitely bummed out, but that was really it.
Gotcha.
And then James Corden was like, and you got these two things,
Yeah.
like that was funny, but for me that was about it.
I got you. So this is the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the whole movie kind of fell apart for me. There is no way that this heist, at least the first part of the heist with the necklace, would have worked.
The magnet, right?
Yes. Well,
yeah,
not
because they had the 3D model of it. But they didn't know that the latch before the 3D model was made.
Well, not only that, so yeah, they would have had to rebuild the necklace with the magnet
latch,
system
right.
in it,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense at all. But additionally, so the way that they structured the heist was that they get Anne Hathaway's character Daphne to vomit. Basically, she runs into the bathroom,
Right.
and they pretend like what happened was she was running, and the necklace fell off and somehow landed in a lake.
Right.
Truthfully,
The fountain or
right.
whatever.
Truthfully, you have Sarah Paulson's character Tammy, who has the false necklace like on an ankle or like a whatever thing on her thigh.
Yeah.
And she lifts up her dress and she drops it in there and then she pulls it out. Think about this. The first thing that I would do if I'm James Corden or I'm investigating, I would figure out where specifically or how specifically that necklace falls off.
Right.
They have footage of her running towards the bathroom with the necklace still on.
Right.
They would have seen that the necklace did not fall off into the fountain.
Right.
That would have been like first step.
Yeah.
And so then immediately you go, okay, well then who found the false necklace?
Yep.
They would have gone to Tammy. So the whole thing falls apart right there.
Nuances, and yeah, there was a couple of things, and just a magnet thing too. They did not know that was a thing when they 3D scanned
I thought that was really ridiculous, and I'm like, you mean you know all about this necklace, but you don't know about this like locket thing on the back, and it just felt like an oversight, and it never felt like to me like the interesting thing, and then we can finish and move on. The interesting thing about the Ocean's 11 movies is that the heist seems so outrageous and unrealistic. Like, how do you rob a casino vault in this way? They're just stealing a necklace.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's not like an amazing necklace or anything, but it's a necklace.
Yeah.
And I think the added twist at the end of the movie of it being like more than just that necklace, that added to it.
Yeah.
But the heist in and of itself didn't really seem all that significant.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally could have just done some sort of like, armed thing at some point and robbed the car, which I know they're not about that in the Ocean's movie, but it's kind of like, I don't know.
Anyways.
Yeah. That's the spoilers.
That's the spoilers part.
I don't feel like they would have realistically been able to pull off this heist and gotten away with it the way that they did. So it kind of throws apart the whole entire end.
No, I gotcha.
In a way.
Yeah, no, I agree. There are definitely some holes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys saw Ocean's 8, let us know what you thought about it. You catch anything that maybe we missed or anything like that, let us know. Email us, reach out to us on social media. We do have one other movie that you got a chance to see that I didn't get a chance to see that I really wanted to see because of the concept I really thought was cool, and that is Hotel Artemis. So we have just a few minutes here, I guess.
I can talk about it real briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Blah, blah.
Synopsis for it. Set in a riot-torn near-future Los Angeles, Hotel Artemis follows the nurse who runs a secret members-only emergency room for criminals. It stars Jodie Foster as the nurse, Sterling K. Brown as Waikiki, Sophia Boutella as Nishi. I never really got, is it nice, Nishi? Niche? I don't know. You had Jeff Goldblum as the Wolf King, who's not in it nearly enough. He could have been in much more.
Niagara.
Brian Henry as Honolulu. Jenny Slate as Morgan. Zachary Quinto, who I haven't seen a lot for a while, who plays the son of the Wolf King. Charlie Day as Acapulco, who was pretty good in it, and Dave Bautista Everest. So the movie that I expected to go see was a movie about, based on the synopsis, is they're all stuck in a hotel and everything just kind of falls apart. And they're all fighting and battling, and it's one-upsmanship, and they're all hired killers, and it's that was what I was expecting to see, and kind of a fun romp and ride.
Yeah.
What it ended up being was more of a family overcoming drama with action elements.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it really didn't translate all that well. I mean, there was some cool action moments that kind of took place in the film.
Yeah.
Stylistically, it had a fun style, and I think that's where it slightly elevated itself.
Okay.
I think the main problem is that it felt like it was, with the futurism and everything like that, it felt like it should have gone a little further and become a bit more unrealistic.
Okay.
Like it should have been almost like, I don't know if this could take place within our world, but it felt like they were trying to make it in the future, but also ground it.
Oh, okay.
Does that make
Interesting.
sense?
Yeah.
So it's like everything is very like, there's future technology, but everything is very structured and grounded. And so because of that structuredness to the script and the world, you start questioning, like, well, is that realistic, or is that realistic, or is that?
Yeah.
And there's so many times where it's like, that's not realistic. That I don't understand that. Like
Right.
a guy will just show up somewhere, or like, well, why didn't you try finding another entrance or exit, or there's
Right.
like 5 or 6 are like, you're a gang that supposedly runs all of New York, and you're telling me that you don't have any extra weapons, or that you're just got things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
That just kind of fall apart after a certain point.
So
you know?
the idea of Hotel Artemis reminds me of like the Continental a little bit.
Yeah. Kind of.
In John Wick. It's just like a safe haven where, you can go and be without being bothered.
Yeah, except this is a this is the part of it as well that I didn't get. It was a very, very tiny hotel.
Was it?
Yeah, it only held, I think, 4 or 5 people at a time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
And it wasn't just like a hotel that they could go and just stay at. It was more so a doctor's.
More a hospital-like.
Yeah, like a hospital place
Yeah.
with beds. So you could
Okay.
go there and just stay there, but most of the people that go there end up being injured through something, and then
Right.
they come
Okay.
in. And so it was an interesting concept, and I was kind of like hoping for more.
Yeah.
Because you don't see a lot of these types of films
Sure.
that pop up and just have nothing else tied to them. I mean, we're just talking about Ocean's 8, which is a complete sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some elements that worked, I think, action-wise. It was decent,
Okay.
although a little bit like you kind of knew where everything was going. Like
Sure.
that person's going to die and that's going to happen there. It was very like flagged. There was some silly stuff with like Jenny Slade's character that she comes in at one point and she's there, but it's almost more just like to move the plot along, but they try to make her into this really significant character that doesn't pan out
Weird.
in anything.
Okay.
I did really like Dave Bautista's character.
Everest.
Yeah, Everest. He plays an orderly
It's
within
kind
the
of like
thing.
Everest.
Yeah, and he was funny. He probably had the most interesting kind of funny
like
lines.
Drax funny?
Yeah, kind of.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, kind of. It felt like he could have been if the surrounding cast
Okay.
had supported that more.
Sure.
I mean, he talks about like, I'm an orderly and I am here to help people as he'd like just punch somebody in
yeah.
the face. You know what I mean? So I
I'm
felt,
invisible.
yeah.
If I move incredibly slowly, you cannot see me.
Darn it. Yeah, no, I think he could have gone there. It needed that's really part of what it needed. It needed some levity.
Yeah.
And it needed
Okay.
some tongue-in-cheek kind of silly fun.
Why is
And
Gamora?
it never did that. It went really hard and heavy. Why is Gamora? Went really hot and heavy into trying to be very serious.
Yeah.
And you have a guy like Dave Bautista who can be silly. You have Charlie Day who can be ridiculous and crazy and over the top and funny. You have Jenny Slate who can also be crazy,
Right,
ridiculous,
right,
and
right.
funny. You have Jeff Goldblum who can be ridiculous and funny and over the top. And they put everybody, they put everybody at this very flat, kind of simple level. And it would have been funny if you have these crazy characters and maybe one or two, like Jodie Foster's character and Sterling Brown,
Right.
who are just very like normal.
Yeah.
And around this cast of crazy characters
Yep.
that are causing this ensuing mayhem. The actual battle, I'm going to spoil this, sorry. The actual battle within Hotel Artemis lasts all of, I would say, 15 minutes. 10
Really?
to 15 minutes, yeah. The rest of it is just build up, build up, build up, build up. And then
Interesting.
eventually you get to the breaking point, and the breaking point is not that interesting
Huh.
because it involves a bunch of characters like dead. Like they're all dead except for a couple. And then it's kind of like you don't even really see the results of the rest of the characters.
Strange.
Yeah, so it just, I was like, what are you trying to do here? Like, what are you trying to make? And it became more a film about Jodie Foster's character, the nurse,
Yeah.
and her overcoming these social anxiety aspects of, which kind of is explained.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a twist that happens partway in but it's not really a twist. What I was really thinking was, like, this would be awesome. You've got this Wolf King character played by Jeff Goldblum. He showed up at the very beginning of the film. He's
Okay.
like the king of LA. That's what they say. He like owns LA.
King of LA.
Instead, he shows up like almost a little after halfway through the film.
Okay.
He should have showed up at the very beginning and gotten stuck in there. And then all the craziness should have happened then with somebody trying to kill him and
Right.
him trying to fight back. And his gang of people should have been trying to break in to get into there to save him while all this crazy death and shooting and mayhem is happening inside. But it really is like he gets there and then it just kind of it's like almost like 3/4 of the way through the film he gets there, half the 3/4. And then it's like boom, 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 everything's done. It's just weird. And then they have the whole riot thing, which was completely unnecessary. I don't even understand why they had the whole riot thing.
I don't know.
It didn't even need to be set in the future. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
made really very little practical difference.
Is
as
it
to,
is
like,
this
the,
based off an existing like IP or like an existing like
I
like
don't
graphic
know.
novel or something? It seems like it is. That's kind of the vibe I got, but I don't know. Maybe it's not.
I get that. I mean, it definitely seems like it could be.
Yeah.
But it wasn't interesting enough to feel like they
Okay.
had another story that like there wasn't enough realistic story playing out to feel like it was tied to some pre-existing
Okay.
IP.
I gotcha.
So
What would you break it down as? Rate it.
So I'm giving this one a 71, which
All right.
it probably doesn't deserve. I should probably go lower, but the acting was good.
Okay.
The action was fine. The cinematography was like serviceable and good. And I want to give it a little bit of credit for at least trying something a
Sure.
little bit different.
Yeah.
They didn't just go for the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. Cool, man.
there you go.
71 C minus Hotel Artemis. Did you guys see Hotel Artemis? Maybe comment. Let us know if you did, if you liked it, if you know if it's based off an existing IP or something like that.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, let us know what you thought about it. Comment. Send us an email, realreviewmedia@gmail.com. Also want to break down, you can reach us at social and variety of different outlets on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Real Review Media, youtube.com/The Real Review, where if you're watching this, that's where you're watching it.
There you go.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, is there anything else you want to add to any of that?
No, I think I'm good.
Think you're good?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm excited
cool.
for Incredibles.
Yeah,
too.
Incredibles, dose.
And Tag.
And Tag. I'm excited for
Hear
Tag,
it.
too.
Oh, I spilled.
Oh, man, you spilled stuff. Coffee? Is that coffee?
It is coffee.
You spilled coffee, you guys. And on that note, it's been real.
It's been real.